And first of all, it's wonderful to see that you're doing well because, by all accounts, it seems to me like this is a renaissance, isn't it? This is like your finest hour almost.
I love it. You know what? I don't know. I think that when I turned 30, which was a really long time ago, it was decades ago, like 2 decades ago. Like I said to my mother, I was marveling at the fact that I didn't feel any different. And I said, Mom, I don't feel any different than when I was like 24. I was like, I don't feel any different. And she quietly looked at me in her quiet, small little voice and she said, Imagine being my age. And I blew my mind because I thought inside of our noggins, we never feel any different than when we were like, our intelligent, peak, like when we finally, the lights turn on for us, like when we're whatever age we are, 31 or like 28 or like whatever age when the lights turn on and our bodies keep going and here we are, plugging away and the lights never really change. Well, hopefully we evolve a little bit. We can gain a little bit more emotional intelligence. We can gain a little more knowledge and stuff. But ultimately, our bodies just keep going, and they break down like cars do. But ultimately, inside, I feel like the same idiot that was stage diving at 25 years old, and here my body is, and we keep going. And so, this stage of my life, this chapter, I feel like I'm a mid-career artist. Ultimately, I feel like I'm still going to do Screeching Weasel covers and stage dive every night in my rock shows. And I look to Tina Turner and I go, Tina was in a miniskirt and heels when she was in her 50s, and she decided then that she wanted to start playing stadiums. And I think, well, hey, she was in her 50s and went, now is when I want to start really shooting for the stars. And so I'm like, yes, this is now is when I want to go.
That's
Nuts.
astonishing. It
Yeah.
sounds to me, it's a tale of agelessness. And because you are first and foremost a musician and you keep yourself creatively active, this is almost like a rejuvenation of sorts. I bet it must be difficult to look back at those 90s when you were at the peak of your career in terms of being active in, as you said, the mosh pits, in the raves, in the punk movement, which was so strong in those mid 90s, wasn't it? I mean, you really found the right wave to jump on as a musician at a time when music was still about integrity, passion, and true innovation.
Well, I think now there are the same young artists. In many ways, they have more opportunities than we did because of internet. They can get into more ear holes more quickly than we could. We really had was handbills that we could hand out on the streets, and we could run around, trying to get into the college campuses and, tell as many people as we could on campus radio. Now they have quicker, faster opportunities to get into people's ear holes, but many times they lose the plot. And so I think there's more distraction now. And I think it's very difficult to be a person in the world today.
That's interesting.
Um, it's very hard to be a person. And so I think that it's, especially again, like we're talking about when we spoke in 2019, you know, the world is very tender right now, and it's very confusing for people, even smart people. So I think that there's lots of distraction, and people are just kind of running around, feeling very, very tender and very upset. And it's hard for people to unwind and feel like they're able to make a difference, to feel like they're not going to be hurt all the time, and to feel to feel like being creative. And I still believe that art can save us, and I feel like socio-political art can save us, and I feel like it can save young people. A lot of our generation, And the boomers, well, I don't know. They're getting older and they need us Gen Xers to take care of them. But we're too busy, looking around us going, everyone is losing their minds. And I think that the younger generations are kind of super, yeah, they're panicking and they're all very tender. And so, I think that nobody really knows what to do. And North America has really lost the plot. So I don't know how everyone's going to be able to pull up their socks at this time. So it's weird. I think we need a reset, and it's hard for everybody to reset right now. I still think that art and literature can save us. I do. I
I
just
agree.
really do.
I agree, especially when it comes to resiliency. I think musicians are some of the most resilient people on the planet today at the grassroots level, right? They're the ones trying to gig in bars and restaurants. They're the
Yeah.
ones trying to find representation that'll open them up to a new audience at a time when, as you said, a lot of audiences are highly impressionable. They're
Yeah.
very tender, they're very vulnerable, and
Mm-hmm.
it's easy to exploit that. Whereas music, by its very nature, especially with what you've done in the past, demonstrated that it can be very empowering, very emancipating. What
Mm-hmm.
uh, what keeps you going after all this time? I mean, is it the fact that you yourself have had to deal with so much personal adversity? This documentary, from what I understand, is going to be extremely candid and revealing. It sounds to me like you decided on some level that you need to show your admirers and fans, this is what I'm all about, and this is what I've overcome. You should too. Is there that theme? Is that what drove you to do it? Or was it more, some people sometimes do documentaries for vanity, ego based purposes. I don't see that with you. What drove you to make you say, I'd like to put this on display and kind of show what my life's like to hopefully maybe influence other people?
Well, again, I think that what happens to me is always the same thing. I've had the same manager since I was 21 years old. So I've kind of been, I've been very, very fortunate in my life. I don't know why I got to be so lucky to kind of have a bunch of, adults be guardian angels around me. I don't know why I didn't croak and some of my mentors didn't make it. And so there's a lot of that survival guilt that I have in many ways. Because we had, us punks had lives of misadventure as we went around, kind of trying to create this messy art that we were doing. And my manager kind of badgered me into writing this memoir in 2013 that came out in 2016. I didn't really want to do it. I thought it was very conceited to write a memoir. And I didn't really think that I needed to, but I kind of went, okay, I had the tit cancer. I get it. I had the heart surgery and stuff like that. I get it. I didn't croak. That's why you think I should do it. And he kind of nudged me and prodded at me to do it. And HarperCollins was generous enough to put it out for me. And I thought, well, that's very polite of everyone to, kind of accept that I did that. And I really discovered I really loved writing. And I loved doing that. And then I really discovered I loved reading it to an audience. And I did the book tour. And the same was true for the documentary. They made this documentary, and Adam Scorgie and his company Scorgie, out of Alberta, wanted to be the company behind it. And Yaz Talat and Gabriel Napora, we've worked with them before. They were with Electric Panda, and they were actually making a feature film based on the book I, Bifficus. And so they're making this feature film with actors about my silly life of misadventure and being a runaway and being born in India and being all these crazy, nutty things that happened. And Peter, my manager, was bemoaning the fact that all these documentary filmmakers were harassing him. And they said, why aren't you using our company to make a documentary about this chick? Why are you like having to worry about this? And that's kind of how it happened. And so he started working with Scorgie and Super Channel, bless their hearts, Canadian company, came on board and said, we love Bif, we're gonna help you do this. And they all came together, bless everyone, and they decided over 4 years that they were gonna follow me around to all of our places in Paris and Mexico and on tour. And that's kind of how it all happened. And I just can't believe it every day that I get to A, be alive in the world, and B, get to share my story with everyone.
Very inspirational. Tell me why, having a manager for a few years is a stretch for a lot of musicians now. There's always a lot of agencies changing and artists
Yeah.
get frustrated. What was it about your relationship with your manager that stood the test of time? I mean, 21 years old is a young age. And as you know, a lot of bands and musicians, usually after they start getting a little bit of fame and fortune, they make that change because they want to maybe reinvent themselves. Why have you kept the same management group all this time? What is it about your manager that inspires you to keep being creative and getting the most out of being an artist?
Oh my goodness, I could talk about it forever. And well, I mean, to have somebody, a person, have such blind faith in you all of these years. It's like me working with Eric Alper for so long. It's the same thing. You wind up having just having someone who's so loyal to you and has such faith in you that you wind up having the same faith in them, and you're committed and you're loyal and true. And Peter, the same thing is true with he's so talented a person and so committed. He has 5 daughters. I always say I'm the sixth. And but also, he was so frustrated with me on my second record. I was writing all these songs with all my death metal boyfriends and my heavy metal boyfriends. He got frustrated and picked up a guitar, and the first song that he ever wrote with me was Spaceman. And it just went from there. It was meant to be, really. Spaceman was the first number 1 hit
Number
I
one hit.
ever had. That was a recurrent hit for indie
I
in
remember it
Canada.
well. I remember it well.
So,
It
I
it came at
mean,
such a good time of life too, right? The 90s, where you could have been free to
yeah.
explore that song.
Yeah, so I mean, we've had a long relationship of songwriting. Plus, he produced my records, and he co-wrote Tango Shoes with Doug and I, and he produced records with us and did produced videos and directed videos, and I mean, I have 21 videos, and
It's a lot of videos.
yeah, we have Her Royal Majesty's records, and then we went on to do Bodog music, and I mean the list goes on and on and on. But everyone will see that unfold in the documentary also. So
Well,
the whole story is there.
that's really inspiring. Tell me about the documentary. I did some research. I saw that you collaborated with, I think her name is Pollyanna Hardwick Brown, who's done other documentaries as well. One that I really liked, which was the Grant Fuhr documentary.
Oh,
Why,
amazing! Yeah.
why did you choose to work with her and her organization for this documentary? What was the turning point? I'm sure there must have been other suitors who came to you and said, Beth, you've lived a semi-charmed kind of life. There's extraordinary storytelling here. Why did you decide to go in this direction?
Oh, she is amazing. She's really she's an angel. She was a fan more than anything else, and she wanted to be true to the story, and she was so protective, really, of what she felt and believed was very honoring of, I guess, my story. And she's a fierce feminist, and also she's just very meticulous. She was an editor first and foremost. She's just so very true to the craft of what she's doing. She's just so talented, and she was just like, I don't know how to explain it. She's just like almost, yeah, my guardian angel in many ways. And with her direction, with her using her brushstrokes and her creativity, really, I feel, told the true story, and it was just very honoring. She just really honored the truth to my story.
You're legendary for staying close with fans. You communicate with them. It's like a mantra for you, I think, because you've been doing it for so long, especially through times of adversity. Your fans are loyal, they're fierce. But if I've never come across you before and I go to see this documentary, someone who's never heard of Bif Naked but is curious, what can they expect? What will your documentary do that'll make them say, wow, today I've really learned something about this human being?
Well, honestly, I think that I hope that they will learn something about any person. Like, for example, they will learn something about uh, adoptees. That my birth mother is interviewed in this
Oh,
remarkable tale. And it's a bit of a tearjerker in many ways because you get to hear her be able to share her story for the first time, and it's a tale of a 15-year-old girl who had to give up her baby in India and never to see me again. And then I wrote letters to the High Commission for Canada in New Delhi for years until I was reconnected with her. And so that's something that's really beautiful. And I have a wonderful relationship with her today that we'll always have. And that's something that I cherish and that I feel so fortunate. I mean, what are the odds in this world? And of course, I'm old enough that I was able to connect with her, and we had no internet, and that's amazing. It's really beautiful. And so in many ways, the documentary is a love story. It's about relationships, and it's about my story of resilience, and my runaway story, and how this taxi driver in Toronto, he didn't have to save these two stupid kids from Winnipeg and take up a collection, to send us back home on the Greyhound bus. He didn't have to do that. There was no internet. He could have like turned a blind eye, but he didn't. And again, that's another person that just took a chance and did the right thing. And so I think, why am I so lucky? I don't know. It's just I just kind of feel like, it's just kindness always wins, no matter what in life. And it's not just my story, it's everyone's story.
that should be featured like a form of almost like a daily prayer, where instead of praying to God or a supreme being, you pray to the art of kindness and compassion, right?
Absolutely.
All the ancient poets used to write about that too. Wordsworth, Longfellow, they always wrote the most important thing, three things that are most important in life is to be kind, and to be kind. It has to be,
Yes.
it has to be reinforced, isn't it? Because there is selective kindness in this world, but then there's the kind that's just inside of you. And no matter
That's
what you
right.
do throughout life, by being kind, you are respected and admired for it. And, your life, honestly, most people have to become famous or popular to have a Hollywood lifestyle. I feel like your life was meant to be cinematic from the start. The very fact that you were born in New Delhi, India, should tell you that this is not going to be an average story about a person in this planet. For you, it seems to be one where it was all about survival through cancer, survival through respiratory problems, survival through health issues that cropped up when you least expected it. And now you're here to tell the tale. It must be empowering to be going up at I believe it's November 12th at the Royal, where you're going to be screening it. How will you feel when you get up there and you know that those fans will be there for one reason, which is to connect with you on this story about love and kindness?
Oh, I find that I cry.
Yeah.
I cried the whole time when we were in Calgary International Film Festival and Edmonton International Film Festival. I was met with audience members that would come bearing their SNFU vinyl albums, because I was, of course, I sang on two of the SNFU records, and I was so moved that these guys were there in their battle vests with their SNFU records, or with their Gorilla t-shirts on, and I would be, reduced to tears. And it's because we still have this sense of community, through all these years. And I just think this is what's important, because not only did we grow up together, now we are growing older together. And no matter time and distance, whatever happens, we still have this sense of community as a generation. And that's something that will never change, no matter what changes in our lives. And maybe that's also what the hippies had. Maybe that's what they all had. But we all have it now. And, in the world that is a dumpster fire, It's more important than ever. And so when the audience is there and when we all gather, that's this unspoken thing, that we all share. And it's something that will always connect us, no matter what the reason is that people gather. That sense of community is something that we foster and need more than ever. And, we all know it. And so it's really touching, for us all to get together for the screening. It's really good.
I think it'll be something very special. I think
Yeah.
just from seeing how passionate you're about it and how it's touching you at the core, I think that this is something that will be as cathartic for your fans and those in attendance as it will be for you, isn't it? You're going to look at this and hopefully it'll give you additional healing, knowing that after all this time, your music is still valued. There are people out there who discover it for the first time, and maybe that inspires them to pick up instruments or to be like you. You were a real rabble rouser in the 90s, while grunge was happening and all sorts of things were, the neo-punk movement was unfolding. I distinctly remember that you were in the center of it. You always gave that nice Canadian provocative edge that made the people down south go, who is that? That's just like getting our attention, that empowerment, right? That idea that a girl can come on after all this time and effort and just, yeah, at a very young age too. It's amazing you survived it, though. I'm sure you had and were privy to some things that weren't easy to absorb or deal with, but yet here you are to tell the tale to those who lived through it with you.
It was really a serendipitous time for all of us.
And one that I hope will continue to bring you a lot of success and peace of mind in this world. Beth, I hope that this event goes very smoothly, and I will do everything in my power to make sure that my followers know what you have on the horizon, what you're doing, and please continue to be this artistic and this creative. It's influencing more people, I think, sometimes than we realize in life when we project like this from a place of authenticity and purpose. And I wish you nothing but the best of health and good fortune moving forward with this.
Thank you so much.